Here, and we're at day 13 of easing through the holidays. So, I am the founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance. And this series, Easing Through the Holidays, are tips and tools to help people reframe some of their holiday experiences to move through with a little bit more joy and calmness, ease, and fewer expectations. Healing starts inside of ourselves and it ripples out into the world. So when we look at concepts and ideas that we have carried maybe with ourselves our whole lives, and we explore these in a new way, look at them differently, and change maybe how we react to them or respond to them, we create a space for the people we know and love and come in contact with to do the same thing. It's their choice. But my choice is to look and explore and to experiment and to see what happens. So today I put down expectations. Well, that was yesterday, expectations. Today is disappointment, because a lot of times when we have expectations, they are followed by disappointment. For a long time I wanted a horse when I was a kid, and and every year I would say to people, don't get me anything, just put all the money together to get me a horse. And every year I didn't get a horse. Not every year, but it was a long time. Finally, when I was 10, my mom found a way to get me a horse, and it stayed at a friend's farm, and we were in church together, so I had a friend to ride with, and it was actually a pony that one of their horses had, and so it was good for everybody. But there were years and years and years where my main expectation was that somebody would give me a horse, and it didn't happen, and then I was disappointed. And maybe in my disappointment, I missed some of the wonderful things that I got instead of the horse. And then, because I was a kid, I didn't always look at how my disappointment might spread to somebody else. Because we do spread our energy and we spread our joy when we want to, and we spread our sadness and we spread our anger. Emotions are transmissible. They're like water, like electricity passes through water. It goes the emotions right through the water from one person to another. And so one of the things I looked up disappointment to clarify, and the definition is sadness or displeasure caused by non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. So when we have a new little baby, we try to meet all their expectations. When you have a child, it's pretty easy to meet a lot of their expectations. But at a certain point, we need to also teach, not purposely hurt people, but teach people how to deal with disappointment with resilience. And not this idea of what's wrong, why did this happen to me, blah, blah, blah. We have hopes, we have dreams, we have expectations, and we will have disappointments. It's part of being human. And the thing that I have discovered, is how I think about the disappointment, how I deal with the disappointment, that determines whether I kind of go into what I call a bog of unhappy emotions, or whether I'm able to kind of step back. Stepping back helps me, not being quite so close and enmeshed in what's going on, and looking at the whole thing from a different perspective. And then I'm able to to deal with it differently, to carry the disappointment differently, to work with the disappointment in a new way, to see that it's just something that happened. It's not the only thing. It's not the most important thing, maybe. Maybe it is the most important thing right then in your life. And it didn't happen. And then what? How do we pick, as my brother said, well, you know, I had plan A and then I had plan B. And now I'm working on plan C. And plan C got him some international travel paid for and paid vacation, which he hadn't had most of his life. So there were benefits to plan C that were not contained in plan A that nobody knew about until we got all the way into the middle of plan C. So to keep moving, to keep shifting, to know that hopes and expectations are simply some ideas that we have, that we put some energy into, which is good. What about an expectation of how the hope is going to materialize in the world? Sometimes we can miss that our thing that we were wanting to have happen actually happened, but we didn't see it because it came into our life in a different form. And so that's one of the ways that distance helps me to see from a larger perspective. I wanted to be a professional dancer, which I ended up being. And my main goal was to move to New York, get in a company, and tour to Europe. And I did that. And it was great. I toured with a great company. And then I didn't really have another plan for where I wanted my dancing to take me. So I had a few years of kind of in between, kind of amorphic. I did a bunch of stuff. When I look back at it, I had had some wonderful learning experiences. At the time, I wasn't too happy because I couldn't see what they were doing, what they were adding up to. But they created a comprehensive learning experience, a lot of adventure, and I met some great people. So, well, not my first thing, my first goal, it was a good goal. And touring to Europe, I went with a Renaissance company that people took time off. They gave us a week off between show dates, gave us our pay in cash and said, show up at the next location on this day. And I had friends who were in major, major companies, and we talked about our trips to Europe. And one of the things they told me is all they ever saw was the inside of a theater. And I saw all of Europe. So I wasn't in a big name company traveling, but I met my goal. And I actually had the experience that meant something to me. So look at your disappointments, see if you can back away from them and look at them from different angles. That often really helps. Take good care and have a good day.